This video is brought to you by TS4U IT Engineering Bootcamp.
So I have a quick follow-up question now. So of course beside the technical interview, sometimes your project, your skill doesn't go with the job description,
Right.
and the expectation and the responsibility, but you are being interviewed and you are there. Technically, you are not ready because you do not have that skill set on your resume, on your mind. In that case, what are the benefits? How to deal with that interview process? What are the key points to focus?
That is, again, a very good and important question to address and kind of figure out. Let's start with the part where it comes to tailoring skills to stand out. Being the job search alone is kind of like having a job. When you are job searching, you need that schedule and that commitment. And every application you're preparing, you need to spend time on it. I know it's hard work. Most of them may even reject you, and that's fine. But you need to increase your own chances by tailoring each of your applications. I was told, I was taught here for a job prep that for every application, you will not be able to stand out if you do not read through the description, and eventually you will. This is something you, after applying to a lot of jobs, eventually I got an eye for reading a description and understanding exactly what this job needs. If they're mentioning things like Ansible and Terraform a lot, you'll understand that they are focused on automation. If they are really focused on AWS and IAM roles or certain things or S3s, you'll understand that they're really focused on S3. If they're talking about tools like Jenkins or Git, you'll understand that this role is focusing on CI/CD practices. So you have to first carefully read the job description and kind of get that assessment that what is this job trying to focus on. So when you're sending your resume into that job application, you're going to make those little edits to highlight those strengths according to the job description, and also if you can add or subtract anything, again, that matches that job description. So this is how you can tailor the resume to stand out. But there can be sometimes skill sets that you maybe don't have experience in, or it does not align with the certain role that you are applying for, or maybe you're on a call, or maybe you're in one of the interview processes. That is fine. Go for honesty here, but you have to be intelligent about how you highlight your relevant experiences and projects and connect to that role and that question. For example, for CI/CD practices, there are so many tools. For example, in my experience, here we typically work with Git and Jenkins, but I've had some experiences where Jenkins or Git are not what they use. Here, I will not lie and say, oh yeah, I use what you used. I understand that there's a difference, but I translate my experience and explain how my experience is still relevant to your role because I understand the process. Maybe I did not use their tools, but then I will use examples of how I use the tools I know and how they were beneficial and how they strengthened and if made the CI/CD process efficient for me, so they can understand that I have that understanding. I know how it works, and I can translate my experiences and skills to benefit them as well. This is something you have to keep in mind. If you're ever coming across any calls or questions where you are not exactly familiar with what they're talking about, or you did not actually work with what they're talking about, or it's not necessarily on your resume what they're talking about, in that moment, you have to make that connection that, okay, maybe they're talking about CI/CD, maybe they're talking about automation. I did not use that exact tool that they use, but I use this. How can I use this answer to prove to them that I'm still capable and that I can still learn easily what they're learning, but I have that understanding? That is what I did, and it proved effective for me, and that is what I would suggest you do as well.